So you guys saw the title. It said the era of no contact. We know that we are in the era of narcissists, and a lot of information is going out, especially on social media. A lot of the information is not all accurate. So you have to be very careful. You have to kind of decipher, what you are reading, what you are listening to, because all the information is not actually accurate. I'm currently going through certification. I've been teaching this since about 2018. I've been talking about this for a while, and we have finally gotten two individuals, Dr. Romani and Brown. Dr. Brown. There we go. There we go, Dr. Brown, who is teaching about pathological love relationships, specifically about psychopathic, which is Sandra Brown. Thank you. I'm studying under Dr. Sandra Brown now to get my certification, my national certification with her in her institute. And she and Dr. Romani from California are teaching about pathological love relationships, specifically about narcissist relationships and the damage that is done by individuals with high levels of psychopathy. And a lot of you guys know that term by psychopath. Psychopathy meaning mental illness or mental disease. That's what psychopathy means. And then when psychopathy, the study of, that's what we're talking about. Pathology, you're talking about diseases and illnesses. And those of you that do follow along with Dr. Sandra Brown or read any of her material, or even Dr. Romani with the material, you'll find out, at one point in time, one of the things that I used to teach on this channel was that narcissists were, narcissism was developed because somewhere within developmental stages, something has happened. Somehow they've been traumatized. Now we're finding out through studies, and she's done over 30 years of studies with her team, with the Institute, with her team, with the reduction of pathological harm, reduction of that type of harm. They have done a lot of studies to find that with narcissists, it does not necessarily mean there's a lot of things that actually contribute to the development of narcissistic personality disorder. Some of it is genetics, some of it is environmental, some of it is experiential, meaning abuse, neglect, rejection. Some of it is genetics. Normally you will see those that come from families that have that have had parents or people in the family that have narcissistic personality disorder. 9 times out of 10, they're going to develop, personality disorder genetically. Is in their genetics. They also neurologically, neurology. There we go. But neurologically. If you go look it up, MRIs, what an MRI is, fMRI, which is the brain scan, they find that their brains are, it's almost like damaged. That's the best way I can put it, is damaged. But the brain is very different than a normal brain. So you will see that the brain of a person that has narcissistic personality disorder is very different than the brain of a person that does not have narcissistic personality disorder. And if you look at the brains of a person with dementia, autism, brain damage, TBI, narcissism, you can see that brain is very different than the average brain like ours, a healthy brain. So there is more. Hey, Dawn. There is more to narcissistic personality disorder than I knew at one point in time. So as I get information and as they're educating more, I am providing that information to you. So some of that information from my old videos have changed, but I don't have a problem providing you with that information. One of the biggest things that Sandra Brown talks about is that when we go through graduate school as mental health professionals, that's not one of the things they teach us. They're teaching us to treat mental health disorders and personality disorders. We do know that personality disorders are permanent and unchangeable. And so we try to do the best that we can to provide them with some type of quality of life and treat all the other symptoms. Like some of them have PTSD, anxiety, and depression. We teach them things on how to manage, their moods, their behaviors, make them aware of the behaviors. But we know that when you're dealing with a personality disorder, you cannot change a personality disorder. So we understand that. But the things that we did not learn in school, the things that we have not learned in school, and this is something that you learn outside of graduate school with continuing education, or education on the outside of graduate school, is the fact that those people that have personality disorders, it's inevitable, especially those with narcissistic personality disorder, it is inevitable that they will cause some type of trauma and damage to the person that they're connected with. So it's inevitable. They will cause some type of trauma disorder in the person that they're connected with. That is not what is taught in school. We don't learn, food is not going to fix it. Bless your little heart. You need to be educated a little more, but bless your little heart. But uh, uh, with narcissistic personality disorder, that person that has that pathological disorder, that has that disorder, number one, they usually don't have just narcissistic personality disorder. They have other personality disorders. That's why it's called cluster B. They usually have the other clusters within that, within their disorders. And they usually also have other disorders that go along with it. And when I say other disorder, other personality disorders, that's why for most people, when they're trying to categorize the person that they're with, and they have those, is 9 symptoms or 9 traits that narcissists can have. Out of the 9 traits, at least 5 of them would distinguish that person of having narcissistic personality disorder. But leave it to the professionals for educational purposes only. We have learned the diagnosis for educational purposes only, but it's usually 5 to 6 of the traits that person will have that will determine whether they have narcissistic personality disorder or not. However, the problem becomes is that sometimes you're trying to categorize them. For most people, they're trying to categorize them. They can't figure out, they don't fit into this regular category because of the fact that majority of narcissists don't have just narcissistic personality disorder. So a lot of times the struggle with cognitive dissonance for most people is that if they don't fall in this category and I can't clump them into these categories, then they must not have it. But a lot of them have other disorders that go along with it, to include other personality disorders. A lot of them we call the malignant narcissists or the greater narcissists, those that also have antisocial personality disorder. All of them are malignant, but the most dangerous one is the one that also has antisocial personality disorder. A lot of them that are on that high level of narcissistic personality disorder, the ones that are on that high level, a lot of them have that where, it's bad enough that they already lack emotional empathy. But then you have some that have no conscience. That makes it even worse. That dealing with them, that makes it even worse because they can unalive people and they have no conscience about it. Hey, Karen, but they have no conscience about it. They can go about life with no big deal, eat dinner, have parties, and it's not a big deal to them because they lack that conscience, And so in having said all that, when you're dealing with a person that is personality disordered like that, dealing with a person like that, it's inevitable that you are going to be damaged, harmed. You will have some type of emotional trauma. You will have some type of traumatic disorder. Most people that come and see me that have been with a narcissist, majority of all of them have some type of traumatic disorder, some type of trauma disorder that we're treating. Because they have been traumatized by this individual. And some of those individuals are well loved, well liked. People like them. People love them. They enjoy being around them. They're great people. They have a great time with them, and if you talk about them, they've already set you up because they've already smeared your name, smear campaigned your name to prepare for what you're going to tell when you tell the truth. So they smear your name to make you look bad, in front of other people. So by the time you start telling the truth, it kind of plays into the story because they know you. So they take your information and they play into the story. Hello, Vanessa, thank you. But you play into the story, the narrative. They have to take control of the narrative. They always take control of the narrative. And knowing you and how you think and the things that they do, they take what they know about you and they create their own narrative to smear your name so that when you start telling certain things, they know if I push your buttons, you'll do certain things and you're going to play right into my hand. That's why it's so important, it's so relevant that a lot of you that have to connect with them because of maybe children or because of the fact that you have a parenting plan in place, a lot of you have to learn how to gray rock. But the most important thing is for those of you that have gotten out the situation, you need to go no contact. Now, no contact, you hear that. This is the era of no contact. You hear people talk about no contact. And you hear like a different feedbacks. I was watching something on social media where a mother came on and she was talking about how her daughter went no contact. Now, just by listening to it, the first thing you think is she probably went no contact for a reason. But you have to remember that you have people that take that, those that are narcissists. You have narcissists, they take what is good and make it bad, and what's bad and make it good. And so the problem that you run into is that narcissists will flip it around and make it seem like, that you're the narcissist. They always do. They flip it around to make you seem like you're the toxic person. And so because they flip it around and make it seem like you're the toxic person, they had to go no contact with you. What they're not telling, sometimes what you don't know is that they're not going no contact. They're purposely discarding the parent. And so there was a parent that came on, and she was discussing the fact that her child with no contact. So the first thing you're thinking is like, what did you do? The first thing we start doing is looking at her. What did you do to make that child go no contact? But the more she started talking, the more I began to realize that she was probably dealing with a narcissist child, and that she was taking advantage of that and making it appear as though the mother was toxic. Now, parents, when you become grandparents, you have to remember you're not the parent. And even though we know that they may be doing something or it may not be right, you can't superimpose yourself, because you're going to mess up the relationship between you and your grandchild, or you and your child. They are the parent. All you can do is plant a seed. All you can do is plant a seed, and you give them that information. You plant a seed, and that's all you can do. You can't force them to do anything. That is not your child. You can't take over like that's your child. But she was complaining about the child going no contact, and I began to realize when she was talking, I was like, oh, she may not be the problem. The child may be the problem, because some of the things that she was saying. So they took it and they ran on with it. And you got narcissists that run on with it, and really what they're doing is they're changing the discard, because they're punishing you, and they're changing to make it look like a no contact. And then you do have people that are going no contact, that need to go no contact. And some of you struggle with the no contact because it is a child. It is a parent. It is a loved one. It is someone close in your family. But what happens when your family is actually toxic? What is it when your family is actually the one that has caused damage in your life? What is it when you have tried so hard to be a good daughter, a good son, and you're trying to love your parents, and you're trying to love your siblings, and every time you get around them, it's inevitable. It always happens that everything is going well, and then all of a sudden they begin to be real critical. They say little things, they say little things to disrespect you. They say little things to try to embarrass you. They see that you're happy around specific people, so they try to make you look bad by saying things. And the one thing that when you have toxic family or toxic siblings or toxic, whoever toxic, the one thing you'll always notice is when they're around people that love you and people that you love or people that you respect, they're always going to have to find something of your past to make it seem like it's your present. Or they're always going to find something negative about you to make you look bad in front of the people that have respect for you. Because remember, they always have to control the narrative, and they can't stand when all the attention is on you, or when people really care about you. They're going to change that narrative, and they're going to make it seem like you are a problem, you have a problem. And the thing about it is they can never see you in the new you. All of us have a past. All of us have a past. All of us came from somewhere. All of us have done things in our life that we are ashamed of, because we were young, we were dumb, we were learning the world. But, we all have a past. We can open up the doors, and we can open up the door. We find a lot of skeletons in your closet, because all of us have a past. So be it. You find out something about me, I'll probably tell you, you're probably right. Who knows? Who knows? But all of us have a past. But the one thing that a narcissist cannot do is they can never see you from your past. And they always take your past and make it your present. No matter how far you get into the future, you can be the most educated person in your family. You can be the most successful person in the family. Shoot, you can be a nun, you can be a pope, you can be a priest, you can be whatever. But they'll never let go of your past, because they'll never see your future. They'll never, 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 never see your future. And the thing about it is they always bring up your past and make it into your present. Always. And no matter who you talk to or who you're around, they always make your past into your present, as if you're living the past right now. And then on top of that, they always got to find something negative about you. They're very critical. They're very critical. They don't like, I'm just telling you, they don't like. So what happens when your family are the toxic people? What if your family are the narcissists? Now, for some people, but that's my mother, that's my father, I'm going to respect them. I have to respect them. Excuse me while I clean the screen real quick. But I have to respect them because they are my parents. There's nothing wrong with respecting your parents. And sometimes you have to respect your parents from a distance because they keep traumatizing you. They keep hurting you. Every time you visit, you come back crying. Every time you come back, hey, Miss Hazel. But every time you come, hey, Ernestine, but every time you come back, you're distressed. You hate the holidays. You don't like to go to holidays. You hate Thanksgiving. You hate Christmas holiday. It's not that you hate the holidays. You hate what happens during the holidays. So you have to change your environment. You have to create your own environment. But every time you get around your parents, you're Tina. Hey, Tina, how are you doing? Judgmental. Absolutely. They're very judgmental. You come in and you got a new hairstyle and they're going to find something wrong with the new hairstyle. You come in, you got something nice, but you ain't get it from the store that they buy it from. You got you a nice little car that you like, but it's not like their car. You got you a little house, but your house is raggedy compared to their house. They hate your neighborhood. Even your friends got an issue. So it don't matter. Anything that's positive for you, they're going to make it negative because that's how a narcissist is. They can never see anything positive. If they give you a compliment, don't be surprised they take the compliment back. Something that it's like salt and water. I mean, salt and fresh water is going to mix with them. Because no matter how many compliments they give you, if you listen close enough, there's going to be something that they say like this undercurrent of. So what happens when family are the ones that are toxic? And the thing is that the thing about it is that most people, and you've heard it, especially from our elders, our silent generation, our baby boomers, back in those days, that backhand compliment. Yeah, beware of the compliment. Yeah, because it's gonna come with something else. You ain't gonna get a compliment without somebody saying something about you. So when you get a compliment, just pay attention. Something else is following that. It can't just give you a compliment. You think you cute with your cute little hair. Oh, you think you all that with your new little suit. That's like a compliment and a gut punch at the same time. So you already know that they're jealous just by how they talk. And it's not so much as what they say. Just watch their body language, watch their micro expressions, watch their tone. Because most of our language is not what we're saying, is how that message is being delivered. I think somebody was saying you take a beautiful dinner, you have filet mignon, or not even filet mignon is another one. Is expensive. That wagyu beef with those little tiny potatoes and those two little string beans and that tender meat, and it's beautiful. And the chef comes and has that beautiful hanky over there, and they bring your food out on top of a trash can, on top of a toilet bowl cover. That is so unappealing. And that's how they are. Yeah, a lot of them are passive aggressive, and some of them just straight aggressive, But you just have to be. So what if the family, and then, we have a lot of the baby boomers, and we have a lot of the silent generations, and you have a lot of the, our elders that are very into family. Those are the ones that come from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. They grew up in that time here in the 70s where, family was all you had. That's all we got is family, and we got to stick together. That's your brother, your sister. You look out for them. It don't matter what everybody else do. You family. You stay together. You stick together. What happens in this family stays in this family. Stop talking about our business in this business. Stop. You don't go out there and tell people our business. You don't go to no psychologist or therapist or nothing to talk about no psycho mumbo jumbo stuff. You keep our business. We can solve it. If you got to go see a professional, that means you crazy and you can't handle yourself. This is the message that I've had people come into my office and left out of there because their family members are like, if you got to go to therapy, you're crazy and you can't handle your own business and you can't take care of yourself. And they were so pressured, they end up leaving therapy, And so you have that generation. What goes on in this family stays in the family. We don't talk about that. You forgive and you forget. How do you forget something like that? It's called amnesia. You're not going to forget. And then they tell you blood is thicker than water. Let me tell you something about that saying. First of all, that saying is not correct. If somebody tells you that blood is thicker than water, you'll probably need to be taking aspirin every day, or you probably need to get on some blood thinners. Because any of you guys that are in the mental field know that if your blood is that thick, you're going to get some clots. You're going to have some heart issues after a while. You're going to be in the hospital. You need your blood thinned out. You sick. So even that saying doesn't make sense. And the saying is actually not blood is thicker than water. It's the blood of the covenant is stronger than the blood of the covenant is stronger than the water of the womb. So that's letting you know that sometimes that familiar family connection, or the familial is familial, but the family connection sometimes is not the familial connection that's strong. Sometimes is the connections that you make outside of the family that are stronger. So it's sad because sometimes, the people that you meet on the outside become more family and more empathetic to you. Thank you so much, Melissa, and thank you for becoming a subscriber. But sometimes the family that you connect with outside of your genetics, your family, your where you come from, a lot of them are stronger than the family. So it's the blood of the covenant. You've made a covenant with people. You have become friends. A lot of you guys are family and don't even realize we family. Now some of y'all don't want to meet you. I don't want to meet you. Some of y'all messy. But but there's like Danielle, we have become family. Just be real. We have become family. We're family. Karen, we have become family. And so sometimes those family ties become stronger, and we're stronger as a family than our own family of origin. Because some of your family of origin has caused you so much pain, has caused so many wounds, and then you feel guilty. You feel guilty trying to disconnect from your family because that's my family. That's my family. How can you disconnect? And then I have people, oh boy, this irritates me. I have people on here, what happened to family? I can't believe that we're just not talking to family anymore, that families are disconnected. And I can't believe we have so many families that are disconnected. I can't believe that we have so many families that are broken. And what happened to family? First of all, toxicity happened to family. Abuse happened within family. What happens when Uncle Earl kept on touching Cousin Tina? What happened when Uncle Earl was what's the word can we use on social media? Was violating Auntie Hazel? Or what happens when Uncle Earl was abusing Sister Ernestine? What happens when Uncle Earl was doing things right in front of the family and no one ever said anything? How Uncle Earl, how Earl is. Elevator don't go all the way to the top. To the top. We have to. He's special. No, Uncle Earl was a predator, and we just gonna dismiss it as if it never happened. And then you gonna force kids to be you. Then they force you to be around Uncle Earl, knowing that Uncle Earl violated all the girls within the family and even some of the boys. But you wanted we family, so family becomes that more important than the safety and the health of the people that he has violated. Come on, y'all. This is a new era. That's why the era of no contact is very powerful, because we have to break up that old way of thinking. Yeah, just keep quiet. Don't talk about it. Leave it alone. We grew up in that family of secrets, and then now this is that generation that people don't keep secrets no more. We gonna talk about it. That Me Too movement started, but and we started talking. People started talking about what was going on. Now, keep in mind that not all narcissists have a paraphilic disorder, meaning, sexual disorders like pedophilia or voyeurism or things like that, or stuff like that. Not all of them have that, but some of them do. And some of them are predators, and some of them purpose. And, so that lets you know they have narcissistic personality disorder and they have paraphilic disorders. So it lets you know that they don't have just one order. Some of them are pedophiles. Some of them are, they into voyeurism. Some of them are into some old creepy, some old nasty stuff, But the thing about it is that, here we grow up in families, and, the way that we have been taught, and some of the baby boomers have been taught, is Uncle Earl. You know how Uncle Earl is. You just have to let it go. No, not when everybody in the room feel uncomfortable with him, and you still make your kids go over there and hug him, give him a hug, Uncle Earl. No, don't sit in there. Teach your girls not to sit in men's laps. Teach your daughters, keep your legs closed when you're sitting. Your little girls, keep their legs closed. Don't be sitting all closed. Pay attention to your little girl. Pay attention to your little boys, because nowadays it's little girls and little boys. Pay attention. Pay attention to the children. Pay attention to the room. Read the room, y'all. Read the room. Keep your children safe, because we're not in that old era anymore. And if you have to go no contact with your family, don't let your family make you feel guilty for breaking a relationship with the family. If the family is unhealthy and every time you go, they dogging you out, that means they're like chitlins. Some of you guys, it's called chitterlings. Is pig intestines. Some of y'all eat it. I used to back in the day. It's an acquired taste. And some of y'all gross. I don't ever want to taste that. Ew, that's nasty. Hey, it tasted good when it did until I stopped eating pork. So, but the thing about it is you guys forcing chitlins down somebody's throat, but hey, you got to, this is a new era where no contact is acceptable. And when you go no contact, you are protecting your peace. You're protecting you're protecting your heart, you're protecting your peace, and you're learning how to heal. Sometimes when you get away, from a narcissist, the biggest problem that you run into, the thing that ties you to the narcissist is, number one, that trauma bond. And the other thing that ties you to that narcissist is cognitive dissonance. Once you can break, first of all, you got to break contact and go no contact. That will start pulling you out of the trauma bond. But once you break that cognitive dissonance, those two opposing opinions, where you're struggling emotionally, should I go back? Should I not talk to him? Should I go back? Should I not? But that's my mother, but that's my father, but they're getting older and that's not right. And I'm a child and that's my sister, that's my brother, my uncle, we're family. But when you break that cognitive dissonance, you finally have had enough. You're like, enough is enough. I've been traumatized. And you protect your children. I don't understand why you don't bring your kids around here. I'm not going to have my children traumatized like I was. You know what you felt like. You know how they are. And sometimes the bad part about it is that, that's the grandparents. And I noticed that the grandparents love their granddaughter. They love their grandson. They love their grandchildren. Yeah, they acted that way with you when you were little too. That's how trauma bonds start. That's how they pull the kids to them. That's how they trauma bond the children to them, because the children are very vulnerable. They don't know what a narcissist is. So going no contact is not a bad word. And you have to stop allowing people to make you feel guilty about doing it. Because the one thing you're going to hear, you only have one mama, you only have one daddy. You're absolutely correct. And there's one or two things you can do. I have to go no contact. I have to go no contact because they are abusive. I have to go no contact because I've been traumatized all my life, and sometimes people go no contact for the purpose of, I want to respect and honor my parents. But the only way that I can respect, and honor them is by disconnecting from them. Because if I connect, I'm going to be gangster. I'm going to be ghetto. I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to put them in their place. I'm going to put them old folks in their place. So sometimes it's best to go no contact to maintain your respect for your elders. And as some of you guys know how far to go. Send them a Christmas card, send them a birthday card, a Mother Father's Day card, Valentine's Day card, flowers, whatever, and keep it at that. Because once you connect, they pull you right back. They always trying to pull you, hoover you back in. And remember, I told you that narcissist abuse cycle, it happens all the time. It's an infinite circle. It's an infinite cycle. Infinite cycle. And the thing about it is, it's an infinite cycle that continues until you break it and get out of it. Now, I always do the disclaimer. If you have children with a narcissist, you can't just jump up and leave. You need to get some type of domestic violence advocate or someone in that field to assist you to get documentation. Because if you get up and leave those kids, they're going to change that narrative to work in their favor in the courtroom. They're going to make it seem like you kidnapped the kids. So it's better because you have been taught, they have isolated you. So they have taught you that you can't trust anybody. And so they've isolated you, they have pulled you into this circle, into this cycle, and they have cut your contacts, makes you feel like you can't trust nobody. It's them you can't trust. And so you need to reach out and get somebody in your, you need to get somebody to get documentation so that when you walk out of there, you can get an advocate to help you leave. Some of you guys gonna have to swallow your pride and get into some type of shelter. And when you get into some type of shelter, the one thing they're gonna do is they're going to make sure they get you back up on your feet, to get you into some type of housing, to get you out of the out of the shelter. Because their whole thing is not to keep you in the shelter, but get you out there so you can be independent. And this might be an opportunity where you can get job skill training, you can get some type of training, you can get some type of education, educate yourself. It's never too late to educate yourself. I had an instructor when I was going to school. I got stationed here at JBLM in 1999. I retired in 2007, but I got stationed here in Washington in 1999, and I was continuing school, and I had an instructor, and so it was probably like in 2000. I had an instructor that was teaching psychology. She was doing dream psychology. I love this lady. This lady was in her 80s. I need to go find her name. She did dream psychology, psychology of dreams. This lady was in her 80s, and she had all sorts of degrees in almost every field you can think of. And she was sharp. She was an older lady. She used to wear like a muumuu, and she had these fancy glasses with these things on it. And she used to come in there with her little cane. She was sharp, smelled good. She was just a pretty, pretty white lady, old lady. Oh, but she was sharp. And I asked her one day, we asked her, like, why do you have so many degrees? And she says, in her era, as she was growing up, women had to be dependent on men to survive. She says women did not make as much money as men did in this world. She says, so I got as many degrees of what I was interested in to make myself marketable so that I can make money wherever I went. She says, I love teaching. She said, this is the last thing I'm going to do. She says, but I got a degree in all the fields that I enjoy to make myself marketable so that I can sustain myself. And just think about it, that was in the 90s, she was in the 80s. So either she's in her hundreds, in her hundreds, so in the 90s, that was like 20 some odd years ago, she's in her hundreds, or she's probably deceased. I'm gonna have to look her up. But the thing about it is that she didn't let anything hold her back. Time, gender, nothing. And that's the same with you guys. No contact is not a bad thing. No contact gets you away from the perpetrator and the abuser, and it clears up that brain fog. And when you clear up that brain fog, you can fog, you can think clearer and you can see clearer, even when it comes to the people that you love the most. Mother, father, sister, daughter, siblings, your children, auntie, uncle, cousin. But sometimes you have to pull away. And the hardest thing, especially for parents, listen, I get it. I understand. You have to read into what I'm saying. I understand. Sometimes you have to get away from your own kids. For mothers, these are the children that you birthed. For fathers, these are the children that you raised. And that's a part of you. And the most painful thing is when you are trying so hard to love your kids. They need so it's like you help them and then you watch them fall back down on purpose. And then they blame you for messing up. Every child has a choice that they have to make. And every parent, but the thing about it, parents, is that if you keep catching your kids, guess what they keep doing? They, especially now when I say, and this is all children in general, you keep catching if you keep catching your children, you're going to keep on catching, you're going to have to keep on catching them. Sometimes you have to let them fall on their face to let them learn a lesson. We fell on our face. We had to learn our lesson, right? Now, when you're dealing with a narcissist child, that narcissist child, you can apologize to them 1,000 times. Every time you talk to them, they're going to keep bringing up the same thing over and over and over and over again. They never give you grace because they don't understand that you were a young parent too. So a lot of us were young parents raising children because children were not, we didn't have kids and we got a manual to teach us how to raise a child. Each one of the children are different with different personalities, with different temperaments. Some of them are quiet, some of them are loud. You can tell how quiet I am, right? Be quiet, moderators, be quiet. But the thing is that each child comes with different temperaments. Each child comes with different personalities, and you have to learn that a manual is not given to you at the hospital when you leave on how to operate with this child. Y'all looking at the child as if the child is broke. as if something's wrong, like, can I turn this kid back in? So you have to give yourself grace. But when you're dealing with a child, that has narcissistic personality disorder, but parents, when you have a child that has narcissistic personality disorder, one thing you can all it's always a cycle. Remember the cycle? Remember I talk about that infinite cycle over and over and over again, that infinite cycle, it never changes. And you can't break up with your kid because they still your child, they got your heart. But sometimes the hardest thing for a parent to do have to go no contact with their own child. And every time you talk to them, they beat you down for past mistakes, even if you have apologized to them. Mama, daddy is sorry. Forgive me because I was young. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. A lot of men teach young men. This is what a lot of men teach young men. And a lot of times what we used to teach some of the young men that didn't have young men around them, had older men around. We need the older men. We need you, kings, because we need you to teach these young men things, because I don't know what happened to our sages, our men, our sages, the sages, the kings. We need y'all. That's why I'm so happy when the men come on this channel, because you guys are kings and we honor you. And the thing is that we can't teach a man how to be a man. And I was watching my father and we were walking. My father, this is something that you teach young men, and I never paid attention to it. My father and I were walking, and I'm so used to being military. So I'm used to military, first sergeant, leader, protecting my soldiers. I always pushed them in, and I walked on the side of the street so that they wouldn't get hit. You men know what I'm talking about. I always moved the soldier over, and I always made sure that I walked toward the street to protect the soldiers. I did it with my kids, and especially when you're a single parent, there are a lot of things that we do that we don't have, so a lot of times men will say, you too masculine, you too hard. It's not that, but when you don't have a man around, you have to compensate. You become the protector, the women become the protectors, right? He is a gentleman. And I never noticed that. But me and my father were walking, and I'm so used to walking by the side of the road, I didn't think about it. My father moved me around him. He moved me around him and walked. Automatic. Me and him just talking, he just moved me around and moved me over. And then he grabbed my hands. He was holding my, now, I'm too old to be walking around holding my daddy's hand like I did when I was little, but my daddy grabbed my hand. And the thing about it is because of the fact that my father is aging, and when my grandmother was older, and that was the last time I was going to see her, she did the same thing. She held my hand, and I let her, and my father grabbed my hand. He was holding my hand like a little girl. And then he made sure he walked around. He was holding my hand like when you hold little kids' hands. And I let him do it because those are memories. So the point that I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is that the children don't come with instructions. I wasn't a narcissist, but if you would have seen me when I was younger, you would have thought I was, because I was angry. I was hurt. I was angry and I was hurt. And I could see where NPD could have developed, and thank God it didn't. But I was angry and I was hurt. And my father's voice is what changed my trajectory, But even as an older woman, my father healed some hurt that I never knew was still there. You guys have admitted to your mistakes, but when you have a child that has NPD, they're never going to let you go. They're always going to keep bringing it up. Once you apologize to someone, and I teach this all the time, once you apologize to someone, once you have an apology, shouldn't just be, just blanket statement, a blanket statement. When you apologize, you take accountability for what you've done. And like my father said, I was young, I didn't know. He said, I made mistakes and I apologize. He didn't say, but you. And when I apologized to my children, I said the same thing. I was young, I didn't know any better. And mama apologizes, and a lot of you have done that. Once you apologize to someone and you take responsibility and accountability for your part that you played in their life, it is no longer up to you to make them accept your apology. You have taken the apology and you have put it in their lap. It is up to them. It is up to them whether they're going to accept the apology or not. It's not up to you. And the problem with a narcissistic child is that they keep circling back around to the exact same thing over and over and over again. And then you find yourself continuously apologizing and apologizing and apologizing. Once you apologize, you don't have to keep going back and apologizing over and over again. Sometimes you have to realize, okay, this person, I've apologized already. Now, whether you accept the apology or not, that's up to you. And they get angry with you, or they ask for money, or they blame you for their mishaps. They blame you for everything that goes wrong. And when you try to help them and you tell them don't go right, because if you go right, you're going to fall. And then they tumble down that hill, it's your fault that they tumble down that hill. Sometimes you have to understand that sometimes you have to go no contact with your own kid. Sometimes you have to go no contact. Some of them have gotten on drugs and alcohol, and you blame yourself. They still have to make choices. You say, why me? Why not you? Why I got to be somebody else? Why not you? You looking at other people and you're watching them go through things. Why you can't go through something? Same question that we ask. I don't want to put it on you. You see what I mean? And so the thing about it is that when you have a narcissist child, parents, sometimes you have to know when to back up. Stop running behind them, because you're doing the exact same thing that you will be doing. You're doing the exact same thing that you're doing with the person that, you had an intimate relationship with. You're running behind them, and you have to stop running behind them. You see what I mean? Because you're still running behind your son or your daughter. And a narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist, and they keep you in that cycle. They keep pulling you back. And the biggest thing about children, they pull on our heartstring because we love them. We remember them when they were babies. We remember snuggling with them. Remember walking with them, changing their diapers. You know that when they're in that 1 or 2 year old phase, they look so cute in their little pampers, their little squishy pamper. They look so cute in their little pampers, and they start saying their first words. Those are all the memories you have. And the thing about a child that is narcissist, they always will pull on your heartstring, and you have to watch yourself, because number 1 or 2, you don't want to have a heart attack. You don't want to have a stroke stressing over them. There's sometimes you have to go no contact to save your own self, because some of you guys are getting sick running behind your own children. And I know you love them, and don't let anybody tell you, obviously you must not care how a parent just cut their child off. Well, you know what? Connect with them and see if you cut them off. Yeah, but you the mother. So you telling me that because I'm the mother, or or I'm the father, you're the mother or the father, that I'm supposed to put up with abuse? That I'm supposed to be abused? No, you guys have to have boundaries. You got to put boundaries in place. Boundaries save your life. Boundaries save your heart. Boundaries save your health. Save your health. Well, that's all I got to say about that, y'all. Are children born narcissistic? Well, children have narcissistic tendencies because that's just a natural part of their process. So when you look at little kids, you can't call them narcissists because you normally don't see it really, and you can tell you can tell when someone is growing up with those traits, because they lack empathy, and you can tell they lack empathy. But we normally don't diagnose them until they're about 19 years old, until they're an adult, because a lot of the traits that they have is normal age-related traits that children have. So they're not born on, but like I said, the studies show now that some is genetic, some is neurological, so we don't know. We don't know. Now, I also want you guys to know that I'm getting ready to do a members only channel too on my YouTube. Now, for a lot of you guys, I will still come on live on Sundays, but I will have conversations, because some of you have actually asked me what is my story. So a lot of you have asked me, can narcissists change? No, they get worse with age. But a lot of you have asked me, have you ever been with a narcissist? A lot of you have asked me what my story is. A lot of you have asked me, and I don't put that out there in the public just like that. But yes, a lot of you have asked that question. Yes, I was married to a narcissist for 20 years, with him for 22. Technically I was married, he was not. There's a lot more, of children by narcissists. But yes, I was. Some of you have asked that question. I was married for 20 years, with him 22 years. Narcissist. It was horrific. My children suffered. I suffered. And so this is why we got this channel, So yes, some of you have asked that question. You wanted to know, and I understand you want to relate with the person that's talking to you to see if I understand what you have been through. Absolutely. Not only am I a therapist, I'm also a conqueror. I'm not going to say survivor, conqueror of, So yes, I do understand. I've been there. I've done that. It was horrible. It was terrible. I have a question. It says, when you undergo counseling from a narcissist? Is it trauma informed or grief counseling for the aftercare? Well, Rising Strong, um, how do I put it? A lot of therapists were not trained in narcissist abuse. There's a lot of argument back and forth amongst the therapists. Some of them believe narcissists can change. Some of them don't believe in the big, they call it pop psychology or popular psychology, a social media they think is just a trend that's going on. And then you do have people like Dr. Sandra Brown, Dr. Romani, who are psychologists who are and have over 30 years of experience and education that are now sharing and training therapists on narcissist abuse recovery. So you do now have therapists that are not just trauma informed, which you do want a trauma informed therapist, absolutely, but some of them are also trained in the recovery of narcissist abuse. So they understand that part. You do have grief counseling. So hopefully within the trauma counseling, your trauma informed or a trauma therapist, they do have an understanding of grief, because there is grief that goes along with it, deep grief beyond just regular grief, because they have to understand cognitive dissonance and trauma bonding. And so you do have therapists that are trained in narcissist abuse recovery. And sometimes when you're looking around for a therapist, sometimes you may want to look for a trauma professional, or someone that understands trauma until you can find what you're looking for. Hopefully I answered that question. I understand was married 15 years to a narcissist. I'm sorry to hear that. Narcissists can control their behavior. So yeah, they know. What was the question? They can control it up to it's like they can control it up to a certain point. They can control it up to a certain point, and then they're just going to drop the mask and be themselves. Why are narcissists so toxic? Now, Miss Hazel, you're welcome. Rising Strong Foundation, what is your foundation about? What is Rising Strong Foundation about? I would love to know more about your foundation, because if it's going to help our people, we want to make sure we market, because I believe in making sure we market each other. The only relationship that you can grieve for someone who is still the only relationship that you can grieve for someone who is still living. No, actually, you can grieve over living or deceased people. Living or deceased people, lost job, lost the disconnect, the no contact. So there's a lot of grief. But why is narcissist so toxic? Because just like Sandra Brown said, if you are in a relationship or situation, I say situationship, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, it is inevitable that they're going to cause some type of trauma. They're going to cause some type of trauma. They're going to abuse you mentally, psychologically, emotionally, physically for some. And so they are toxic, period. And anybody they get involved with, they're going to traumatize. They're going to traumatize. It's like a little Tasmanian devil. They're going to traumatize them. Yeah. One is a one-way street, is a one-way relationship. Absolutely. Who is it? Faith is always okay. Faith is all we need, because they're demons walking in flesh. Say, yeah, that is true. Yep. Affordable housing for vets aged out foster. Aged out foster care. Hey, send me some more information. Send me a link. If you DM me, send me a link to your site so that I can make sure I pin you, so I can provide that information. Where are you at? Where are you at? Watch her say East Coast. Where are you at? Rising Strong Family, where are you at? I would love to make sure I market your information, and if you are willing to allow me to use you as a resource, if that is okay with you, to use you as a resource. Let's see. So do I have any more questions? Will you always have the PTSD after being with a narcissist? In North Houston. Oh, so you in Texas. Girl, you in Texas. I'm licensed in Texas. Oh, please send me your information. please send me your information because I'm gonna get I'm going to get I have to get my because I am in network with the VA here in Washington. I have to find out how to if it transfers over to being a network. I don't think I have a problem with that in network in Texas, and of course with insurance company. Once I'm in network with the VA there, I would love to use your organization as a resource. I would love to do that. Thank you so much. And please DM me, inbox me, or email me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. Just be real. If you could go to my Instagram and just post my email address on there for her. Yes. Will you always have PTSD after being with a narcissist? Well, if you get with a good therapist, they can work with your PTSD. They can work with that. They can help you recover from that. They can help you recover from that. So PTSD is treatable, especially dealing with a narcissist. It is treatable. It takes time. Most people think they get in, they do 6 to 8 sessions. It takes time, especially the many years you've been with that person. You double it. It's like you've been with them for 30 years. Well, looky here, ladies and gentlemen. I know it is late. I want to make sure that I get off so that you guys can get some rest because I know my moderators, I know Just Be Real, and I know Danielle are in different time zones. And I want to respect their time because they come on and they volunteer to help me. And I really deeply appreciate you guys for coming on and supporting me. I really appreciate you guys for being here with me. Please know, I hope that you all had a beautiful Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. Hey, Rising Strong Foundation, my moderator, my administrator is Just Be Real First. She just posted my email address. Please send me your organization's information so that I can use you as a resource and your phone number so I can contact you. I can talk to you. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much, Miss Dr. Barbette. And congratulations to you. And welcome back, Dr. Hooper. You got to tell us about your cruise because we need to go on a cruise as a group. Okay, thank you. But we need to go on a cruise, take these survivors out there, do a small conference, and enjoy each other, and then of course I got to go by myself. So thank you, Kings, for being here. Hey, Jamal, Mr. Jamal, Mr. Come on, Demand. Who else is on here? Dr. Hooper. Thank you, all you kings that come out that are not intimidated by these lionesses that are on here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for not being intimidated by a lioness. Thank you for your presence. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot because we do have crazy folks that come through here, and sometimes they need to know that we have strong men on the channel. And a lot of times people assume that we're on here and we bash men. And I want each one of you to know, and quite sure that you guys got the experience that we, regardless of what we've been through, and a lot of women have been through narcissist abuse with men, but this does not mean that we get on here, we do not bash men, because a lot of the experiences are with men. But when you men come and talk about what you have been through as men, we really honor you and support you because most men don't really talk out like that. And so I really, really appreciate you guys coming and supporting me and being here because your strength is needed and your presence is known and recognized. Yeah. And a lot of your presence is known. We feel your strength on this channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and go so I can let my moderators get some rest. Thank you, moderators, for being here. Thank you so much for being here with me. You guys share this information. A lot of you, thank you, Kings, for your presence and your voice. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate it. Thank you, Danielle and Karen. All the moderators are thanking each other. Thank you. But listen, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys have a great evening. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, everybody. Good night. And sweet dreams to each and every one of you. And I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm going to let you guys know what I'm thankful for because I'm going to do a little video. And do know that I'm going to do a private channel on YouTube. It's going to be a paid. Well, it's going to be on YouTube. And this right here is free to you. Don't worry about it. But I will be making videos for members only because some of you guys have asked me to tell you my story. So I'm going to tell you my story. And the story I tell you is not meant for everybody to know on social media. It'll be only for those that are partners on here and members, paid members, and I will give you information that I don't give anybody else. I will change that because the pricing is not right on there, and I will change the pricing on there. But you will get information that other people will not get. I will have conversations with you guys that other people will not have. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night.